Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Monica Corrado here, the GAPS chef, here to answer your questions about the GAPS diet. I am a certified nutrition consultant and a certified GAPS practitioner, and I'm on the teaching team with Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride. GAPS is near and dear to my heart, and I've seen tremendous healing done by people implementing the GAPS diet. So it is my joy to be here with you every week to talk about the GAPS diet and to answer your questions and hopefully to make this simple, easier for you. So again, I'm not a medical doctor, so nothing I say has been approved by the FDA. My website is simplybeingwell.com. Simplybeingwell.com. You can check out my books, charts, schedule an appointment, online classes, all that good stuff right there. All right, so what I'd like to do today, hello, and welcome everyone. Let's see who's here. Hello. I'm going to say hello to Jody. Hello, Jody. Hello, Annika. Hello, Leonie. Hello, Niska. Hello, Marie. Oh, Maria, sorry. Hello from London. Woo! London hot. I know. We've got 100 degrees here too. It's crazy in Colorado. Hello, Joanna. Hello, Faria. Hello, Jennifer. Good morning. Hello, Alejandra. Nice to have you with us. Absolutely. Nice to have everyone with us. People on camera, people not on camera. I mean, whatever. People letting me know that you're here. People that are not letting me know by saying hello. It's fine. Welcome to everyone. Please do use the page. Tag me if you have questions. I'm happy to answer them to the best of my ability and my knowledge. And if I don't have the answer, hopefully I can find it for you or get you a resource. Speaking of resources, please, everyone, do be sure to read the yellow or blue book or both of them, right? The yellow book, we call it the yellow book. I know, not because Dr. Natasha likes to do things in colors. So we have yellow and red and green and blue. I don't know what she's going to do next. Maybe purple. I don't know. But please do take the time to read the book. You cannot, none of us, no one can implement a protocol if we don't know what it is. So it's really important to read the book. It's really important to encourage each other to read the book or one of those books. And please do use gaps.me, which is Dr. Natasha's own website, where she has a wonderful, incredibly extensive FAQs page where all of you can do some searching. Sometimes it takes a little bit of searching, a little creative searching, but there's certainly so much information there. So please do utilize all of that. And then if you're on the page, do use the search function. One of our members reminded me we could search on the page, right? So let's search on the page. If you have a question about beet kvass, search. If you have questions about sauerkraut, search. If you have questions about dairy, search. Culturing dairy, search. Creme fraiche, calm yeast, whatever. Diarrhea, die-off, whatever you've got, search on the page before you ask a question. There's a lot of wisdom there. We've been going for over a year now. Yay, I got a heart. Woohoo! We've been going for a year now, over a year, and there's a lot of really good information there. Okay, what else can I tell you? I'm going to start with the question of die-off. Why? Because I am encountering many people that are trying to implement GAPS with their children who would benefit from a little bit of clarity. How's that? We'll put it that way. So what we want to do when we're doing the GAPS diet, especially when you first start the GAPS diet, whether you are starting on intro or you are starting on the full GAPS diet, And remember, Dr. Natasha has become very clear about when we should be on intro and when we should start our diet on full. She actually has detailed all of this on her website, gaps.me. It's right there. She talks about gaps, the full, what does she call it? The complete gaps, complete spectrum of gaps, the full spectrum of gaps, something like that. Anyway, gaps is big. We've got gaps. We've got no plant gaps. We've got more plant gaps. We've got keto gaps. We've got liquid gaps, gaps, liquid fasting. We've got all sorts of gaps diets. There's a huge spectrum of gaps diets. And she really goes ahead and goes through them very clearly in the Blue Book, and it's right there on her website. So please take a look. If you don't know where to start, whether you should start on full, whether you should start on intro. In general, if your person is prone to constipation, we start them on the full GAPS diet, in general. Okay? And then also, if you travel a lot or you don't know how to cook yet, or you're still learning how to source, or maybe you're learning how to, I'm going to cough. Maybe you're learning how to ferment. You're learning how to soak nuts. You're learning how to make meat stock. It's great to start on full GAPS for a while before you even think about going to the intro diet. It will make things easier for you. It'll make things so much easier for you, right? A little bit of prep and a little bit of practice can really help all of us when we get to the intro diet. So prepping in advance, making sure you have everything you need in terms of kitchen equipment, making sure you have everything you need in terms of sources, clean eggs, clean meat, clean chickens, all of those things, right? Clean dairy, raw dairy if you can get to it. Sourcing all those things, and then practicing. How do I get my meat stock to gel? How's my sauerkraut going? My child seems to have very high histamine. I'll make a bunch of quarts or liters of sauerkraut and put them away for a year, because then the histamine will be lower, right? So practicing your techniques, sourcing, getting ready. So practicing and prepping and supplying. We want to do all those things. It really is so much easier for you if you take a couple of weeks or a couple of months to get ready before you jump into intro. Because intro is, it's an elimination diet. And it's very specific about what you can and cannot eat, and when and how and why and blah, blah, blah. And quite frankly, if you're not ready, you're going to fall. And that doesn't feel good. And we want to set you up for success. We want everyone to be set up for success. We don't want you to set yourself up to, and then you go, oh, GAPS is too hard. With a little bit of preparation, a little bit of practice, GAPS is not hard. You just have to know what you're doing, right? Okay, or people say, oh, GAPS doesn't work. They only gave it a week. Or they went in not prepped. So we know, practitioners, Dr. Natasha, anyone, all of her coaches, we know that GAPS works. And we know that it works in a vast majority of cases, if you will. We know it works. Thank you for the hearts. We know it takes effort. We know it takes time. We know that healing takes time. And with a little bit of prep and a little bit of sourcing, you can really be ready to go. I really want to give that to you because I'm hearing people who are just diving into GAPS, and I get it. I so get it. I get that people want to be well. I get it. I get that they're tired of seeing their children in distress. I totally get it. Yeah, I totally get it. Right? And far better to just take a little while to get ready so that when you get in, you are more confident. You feel you know what you're doing, and you have learned the protocol, or at least tried to learn the protocol. by reading the book. Read the book. I say it on the page all the time. I can tell who hasn't read the book because they're asking questions which are right there in the book. Now, I know some people have so much brain fog that they can't read it all at once. That's fine. Do it paragraph by paragraph. No problem, right? Or find the part that you need to read, right? Whatever that is. Don't bother with all the rest of the stuff right now. Read what you need and then go back. So read the book, learn the diet. That will help. Now, the next thing is just for people who are new and also for people who have been with me for a while. Thanks, team. Thanks, group, for being with me, hanging with me every week. There is a video that I have been able to upload to YouTube that's called, it's either called The Basics of GAPS or The 4 Pillars of GAPS. It's basically like, what is GAPS? Go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. If you can't find it in events here, which you could, just go back to past events and scroll through and find it. It was done a while ago now, at least a couple months ago. And share it with your friends, right? Get them on the YouTube. Not because I care about people being on my page. Frankly, you know I'm not on there much, YouTube. But share the knowledge. Let people know they're struggling with GAPS. Get them to that one video. It's, what am I teaching? The first 5, 10, probably 10 or 15 minutes. Even if they watch the first 10 or 15 minutes, they will understand what they're doing, why they're doing it. Why, right? Because if you try to implement this thing, which can look incredibly overwhelming, very complicated, asking you to do things that you've never learned to do before, ferment and sprout and make meat stock and make your own yogurt. I mean, right? If people will get overwhelmed. We don't want them overwhelmed. We want to give them tools, resources, right? And an understanding of what is this thing that I'm trying to do. So I really encourage you, let people know, anyone, friends, family. Maybe you have family that don't have any idea, like, what is this thing that my daughter is doing with my grandchild? Send them to the link. Send it to them. Let them watch. Let them hear. And then they'll go, oh, I get it. That's what you're trying to do. So just a tool, just to help. Hopefully it'll be helpful to you and any of your friends who are trying to implement GAPS, people on other groups who are trying to implement GAPS. What is GAPS? Like, what is it? What are we doing here? Why are we doing it, etc.? All right. So that's just a little plug for that little tiny video for all of you to use. All right. So now I want to talk about die-off. I want to talk about die-off, and really what I want to talk about is pacing. Pacing. Not pacing up and down the room, right? Like you're worried about something. No. We are pacing. We are pacing ourselves, right? When you have, what a great idea. Not mine, of course. When you have a marathon, yeah? Do you sprint the whole way? No. When you have a marathon, you pace yourself, right? We're pacing ourselves. We know we're here for the long haul. We're here for the long haul. We're here on GAPS for 2 years after symptoms are gone. This is not a silver bullet. This is not a, hey, I'm going to get better in a month. No, you're really not. You may feel better in certain ways. Symptoms may start to move and clear and all that, and that's wonderful. But yeah, you're not going to be off GAPS in a month or 6 months or a year, folks. This is the long haul. So we're looking long down the road, yeah? This is the long haul. We're on a marathon. And the way you run a marathon is by pacing yourself. And that means pacing, like taking the time you need to learn what you need to learn, but also to implement the diet. Okay? So when we're working with children or adults, our children, maybe they're infants, maybe they're toddlers, maybe they're 17, 21, 36. Maybe it's your mother and she's 77, whatever, right? Whoever we're working with, maybe it's ourselves, right? Maybe it's ourselves. Whoever we're working with, we need to pace ourselves. And that means start with just a little bit. Sometimes I have written in my book, the amount that fits on the head of a pin. Not even on the head of a pencil. The head of a pin. That's what we're starting with. So I just want to give you that because I feel like, it feels to me, my experience is that we live in a culture that's fast. Everything's fast. We want everything fast. You probably even want me to talk faster right now. Anyway, that was kind of a joke. We want everything fast. We want to heal fast. We want to do things fast. So you know what? If a little is good, a lot is better because it's going to be healing. No. I mean, up to you. When I work with people, I really encourage them to slow and steady. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. If you have a concern about anything, go even more slowly. Right? Slow and steady. And so I'm speaking this to all of the newbies and all of you that have been on GAPS for a while and any of you who talk about GAPS anywhere, because I know there's a million bazillion Facebook groups out there and blah-de-blah, blow-de-blow everywhere. I am encouraging you, and I believe that Dr. Natasha would say the same because she says it all the way through every book. Listen to the body. Listen to the body. Listen to the body. What is she saying? What is he saying? What's the body saying to you? Die-off tells you something. Extreme die-off, right? When you feel like you can't even get off the floor, you're so exhausted, or you have migraines like crazy, or your child is breaking out with eczema all over head to foot that they can't even handle the itching, right? Maybe we went too fast. Maybe we added in too many new probiotic foods. Too much, too fast, right? Or the other thing it could be telling you is, it could just, severe die-off can tell you what, really, I hate to put it this way, but I'm going to, what you're up against. Meaning, if you have severe die-off, your child, whoever you're implementing with, and you have a severe die-off reaction, I'm going to go into that more in a moment, but you have a severe die-off reaction from a little tiny bit, that is giving you an indicator of, really, we've got to go slowly. We've got to slow down even more, and it's going to take a while. No problem. Information. We love information. If we're paying attention, we can read the signs. If we're paying attention, we can see what's happening with our child or with ourselves or our spouse, whoever we're working with, yeah? So I want to talk about die-off. So first I was talking about pacing. So pacing, to me, is pacing yourself, right? Like, okay, I'm going to start my child on sauerkraut juice. Okay? We know that probiotic juices, right? The juice, I call it bug juice. Dr. Natasha calls it probiotic juice, right? Here's your free little chart. I hope you all have yours. Go download it. It's on the page for you, right? Probiotic juice is going in stage 1 if you're doing intro, yeah? Probiotic juice. So I'm going to start my child on probiotic juice. And I start my child on, maybe my child has been having meat stock, no problem, having meat stock, doing well with meat stock. That's another thing that can cause die-off, by the way. But maybe the child is doing fine on meat stock. And we go ahead and start with probiotic juice. We're starting to add in a little bit of sauerkraut juice, and we put in a teaspoon. And we have an explosion of die-off symptoms, which will be individual for each person. There's a gem. Hope you got it. Die-off symptoms are individual for each person. You could have 5 kids in a family, and each one of them will have a different die-off response if they're doing GAPS. So a lot for a mama to or a dad or a caregiver to manage, but we really need to be looking at that. Each child has, maybe one child is exhausted, right? Just sleeps all day. That's their die-off response. Okay, the other child is spinning around, wee, woo, 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 going around the room like a crazy person, yeah? Maybe the other child is broken out in hives. Yeah, we don't know. Maybe the other child vomits or diarrhea. We don't know. Each one of them, every person has their own die-off symptoms according to what's going on inside. So that's a good little piece for people to remember. And I know we've got some coaches on here, certified GAPS coaches. We might have some practitioners on here, I'm not sure, but that's a real gem, and I know you know that, right? How do your people respond? How does your child respond? So in any case, let's say, back to the story. We've got a little person, they're doing well on die-off. Mom and dad decide time to start putting in some sauerkraut juice. We put in the teaspoon, which is what Dr. Natasha suggests. For the most part, that's where people start. People can start at a quarter of a teaspoon. They can start at an eighth of a teaspoon. They can start at a drop. No problem. Find where you think you need to start and start there, right? No judgment, no worries. So this little person has a huge die-off response at 1 teaspoon. What do? Back off. Back off. If we want to keep our child comfortable, which is what I like to do. I mean, I'm not let's just go for gold and let them vomit all week and then they'll be done. How miserable. Poor little frog, right? So back off, back down. So if a teaspoon did that, wait and let the child calm everything down. Let the symptom calm down. Might take 3 or 4 or 5 or 7 days. We don't know. Take the time it takes. Maybe start with a half a teaspoon or start with a quarter teaspoon the next time, right? So find the place that is right for your child or yourself or whoever you're working with, the person for your gapster, yeah? Find the place. There's no wrong answer here. There's no right answer either. Well, that's not true. The right answer is find the amount that you can manage the die-off symptoms with ease for your person, for your little gapster. All right, so I just want to read, I hope that's helpful. The next thing I want to do is talk about, so I'm in the blue book. You can see how much I read the blue book. It's got stuff everywhere. Yes, that's what your blue book should look like. Okay, so on page 181 is a wonderful thing, a wonderful definition from Dr. Natasha herself. What is die-off? Ready? So we know my working definition of die-off is we've done one of 3 things. 1, we have starved pathogenic microbes and they are dying because they're starving. And we know that the pathogens love sugar, carbohydrates. Another gem there for you. Remember, everything that's not protein or fat is sugar of some kind, right? 3 macronutrients. All right, so die-off happens because we starved out the bad guys and they're dying off. Or die-off happens because I just added in probiotic food, like something that's cultured dairy or something that's ferment. Yeah, what happens? We bring in the good guys, the bad guys die off. All their toxins are released into your gapster's system, yeah? What's the third? The third is we add in those foods that can cause die-off. We've seen it. Meat stock can cause die-off. Egg yolks can cause die-off, yeah? So those are other foods that are not quote-unquote probiotic, but they can cause die-off. So let's hear what Dr. Natasha has to say, and then I'll get to your questions. Here we go. Blue book, page 181. Here we go. Second full paragraph. What is a die-off? As these probiotic bacteria attack and kill pathogens in the gut. She's just introduced yogurt, by the way. That's what she was doing in this paragraph. As these probiotic bacteria, that's the good guys, attack and kill pathogens in the gut, those pathogens release toxins. These are the toxins which make the person ill. In every person, the die-off symptoms are very individual. Woo, I just said that. How cool. Introducing probiotic foods gradually allows us to control the die-off symptoms. I call it managing die-off, yeah? She says you can learn more on this subject in the chapter on probiotics. So if you have the blue book, get to the chapter on probiotics and you'll hear more. All right, so there you have it. That's it. It's like 3 lines. What is a die-off? As these probiotic bacteria attack and kill pathogens in the gut, those pathogens release toxins. The toxins are what make people sick. All right. So just one last piece, and that is, I call it the Monica Corrado, that's me, stair-step method of introducing food. Something I came up with years ago working with clients, trying to get them to understand, like, how do we do this? Remember, stair-step method. We're all stair-stepping. We're all stair-stepping. We're going up. We're staying at the same level. We're going up. We're staying at the same level. We're creating a staircase in how we introduce new foods, meaning probiotic foods, something that cause die-off. We increase a little bit. That's the side of the stair. We stay at that level for a while. Good. We increase a little bit more. We stay at that level for a while. A while can be 2 days, 5 days, 2 weeks, whatever your person needs, whatever their body is telling you. Stair-step method. We don't go from 0 to, oh, I'm going to give my child a cup of sauerkraut. Bad idea. Okay? All right. Okay, that's enough of me. Let's get to you. Here we go. Hopefully that was helpful. And let me say hello to people who have come in. Good, good. Hello, Carol. Carol Carpinelli. I love it. Hello, Valerie is here. Hello, Valerie. Yes, a purple or a bright pink book. I will let Dr. Natasha know we should go there next. Hello, Uma. Hello, Ingrid. These people are new. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Hello, Alma. Zam. Vicky Lee. Hello, Vicky. Indrani is here for hello. We have Blairta. I hope I'm saying your names. I'm really trying to make sure I say the name. Christina is here. Hello, Christina. Good to have you. Hello. Good to have everyone. Hello, Phil San. Hello, Monique. All right. Hello, hello. Hello, Hamda. Good. Hello, Veronica is here. And Honey is here. Karen Dunn. Good to have you with us. Faria, I said hello to. La, la, la. All right. Let's move. Here we go. Questions from the top. Questions from the top. All right, Uma's got the first one. She says, what benefit raw cow milk when fermented without kefir? Okay, so raw cow milk we ferment into yogurt or kefir. Okay, so yogurt will have lactobacilli, mostly a little bit of yeast. Kefir will have mostly yeast. So in terms of potency, kefir will be more potent than yogurt will be, and thus possible for a much stronger die-off from kefir. You'll notice that kefir is not the first thing we introduce in the dairy introduction structure. So again, remembering that raw milk, we are always culturing before we eat it or we drink it on gaps. We don't drink it raw until we've had a lot of healing because there's lactose in raw milk. I hope that was helpful. All right, let me know if you have further questions, Uma, if I got it right or you had something else that I didn't figure out there. All right, whoa, Monique, what are you doing? Look at this monstrous thing. I'm sorry, it's not monstrous, it's just long. How can I tell the difference between die-off, intolerance and typical 2-year-old toddler behavior? I've been told that all bad behavior is usually an intolerance or die-off, but wondering what is normal. Really? Who told you that? What's bad behavior anyway? What's bad for a toddler? Saying no? Expressing their independence? Starting to know that they are they and you are you? How about boundaries? Setting boundaries for the first time? Individuating? Yeah. I don't call that bad behavior, but maybe you could tell me more. Okay. For example, I should have kept reading. For example, my 2-year-old is generally happy, but lately little things have been setting off. Example, we go to the grocery store. My son likes to hold onto an item we buy. In this case, butternut squash. He has no idea what it is. I love butternut squash. When going into the next store and I told him he couldn't take it with him, he clung onto it for dear life and lost his mind, screaming and trying to hit me. Ooh, as soon as he calms down. Is this terrible twos a real thing, or is this a GAPS thing? That sounds like terrible twos to me, Monique. That sounds like terrible twos. That's just him. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or doctor of any kind, but I have had children, so here we go. So yeah, that sounds like I want this. I'm expressing my individuality. Die-off and intolerance usually will show up very swiftly after, again, I'm usualing, right? After eating the food. So if you're in the store and it has to do with a thing, I don't see that as die-off or intolerance. I would see it much more connected to the food itself. I hope that's helpful. All right, Berta, here you go to those. Oh, thank you so much for the link to the pillars. Appreciate that. That was very sweet of you. Thank you. To that YouTube. Thank you for doing that. Indrani says, I'm from India. Excellent. The biomedical doctor has asked me to stay on stage 2 of intro. We're just eating chicken as the meat. Could I send you a list of foods my daughter eats on a day so you can tell me if we're on the right track? I'm very new. It's a bit overwhelming. Yes. Why don't you actually just post it to the page? Or let me just start here, folks. Stage 2. So there is no official extended stage 2. Dr. Natasha does not talk about she says you can stay on stage 2, but she has not, in my knowledge, and I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I've never seen her actually write anywhere. I'm looking in the blue book because it's the newest book on GAPS. I don't see extended stage 2 anywhere. Anyway, hold on. I just want to check one thing, and then we can talk about that for just a moment. La la la, stage 2. Yeah. So extended stage 2 is something that practitioners have come up with that we call staying on stage 2 for a long time. So what can you eat on stage 2? So you're eating chicken as the meat. You can eat any other meat. I don't know if you're not eating cow because you're in India, which is perfect, no problem. But whatever, people can eat. Just for everyone, I'm answering this question. What is stage 2? It's meat stock from stage 1. It's blended soups from stage 1 that are made with meat stock. Okay? It is ferment juice of all kinds. It's cultured dairy of all kinds. You get into stage 2, we're adding in casseroles and we're adding in stews, and we're eating everything from stage 1. Casseroles, stews, meat stock can be made with any bird, right? So chicken, turkey, pigeon, guinea fowl, pheasant, duck, goose, you got it. Any bird you want that you can get that we know is clean. Any mammal that you can get, which is, right? So could be beef, bison, lamb, pork, goat, game, whatever. So all of those are open game for you. Stage 2. What else can you do stage 2? Fermented fish, ghee, all of your animal fats, duck fat, chicken fat, goose fat, tallow, etc. So, and then egg yolks, and then eggs, right? Sensitivity test if you need to. A lot of food you're allowed to have on stage 2. And Dr. Natasha actually calls that stage the most, what does she say? She just says that it's such a nutrient-dense stage that you really don't need to go anywhere else. You don't need to add in things that are aggravating, like nuts or seeds, nut butter. Those things can really be problematic for fungi, etc. All right. So yes, you're welcome to post it. You're welcome to send it. Yes, whatever you'd like to do. I hope that was helpful. Welcome, Indrani. Welcome. Welcome, Hamda. Welcome, everyone. Carol asks, can I make cabbage tonic with a 1-quart jar? Yes. Have the recipe with a 1-quart jar? Yes, absolutely. So for everyone, there is a cabbage tonic recipe. I think I've put it on featured posts. I'm not sure. It tells you the difference between beet kvass and cabbage tonic and when to use them. You can use them whenever you want, but in terms of like really leveraging their potential. And so feel free to find those recipes on the page and print them out, use them, etc. And yes, you can absolutely make it with a 1-quart jar. He also tends to bang his head a couple of times when I tell the word no. So, head banging is specific. I mean, head banging can be a toddler's thing. We do not want anyone banging their head. There's a brain in there, and we don't want it damaged. So, is he on a probiotic, or is he eating fermented foods? Because that may be your link right now. You could, just a thought, again, I'm not your practitioner, but you could take him off the fermented foods and see, and then bring in sauerkraut, bring in probiotic slowly and see if that changes. There may be something in the fermented foods that is actually making him do that. I've seen that happen for sure. So you may want to check that out, Monique. All right. If someone has had an extremely limited diet for a long time, could anything really cause die-off when nutrients are replenished and the system can start functioning properly again? Not really sure. I'm trying to think through that. Could anything really cause die-off? Well, remember, die-off, according to Dr. Natasha, is pathogens dying and the toxins making you sick. So we've got pathogens dying and toxins making you sick. So if adding in a food is going to feed the good guys, like let's say an avocado, which is not a probiotic food, or even liver, right? That's not a probiotic food. Those are just foods. What those things are doing is they're adding nutrients. And so what may happen over time is that you're going to, being on the GAPS diet, is that you will be, I like to call it filling up the pantry, filling up the nutrient pantry. It's been in deficit. It's been empty. Empty is too strong, but it's certainly been in deficit. And so when you bring in nourishing foods, nutrient-dense foods, they are building blocks to rebuild. And so when that happens, when you start rebuilding and you start giving in those nutrients, then you can have, remembering that, the old cells are always dying and being replaced. So you may feel a little bit ill, I'm stretching it here, as those old cells die off. The old cells die and are replaced with new cells. But again, I don't think there's a direct link between eating just a food and having die-off. That's me. That's from what I know. I hope the rest of it made sense to people. All right. Hope that was helpful. La, 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 la. Let's go to Faria. Faria. Allie. How do I know I have reached the therapeutic dose with probiotic supplements? I introduce a tiny bit every 3 to 5 days, and if I see negative reactions, I go back and only move forward when he doesn't react negative, since my child is pre-verbal. Can we overdose on probiotics? Those are great questions. Okay, so how do I know I have reached the therapeutic dose? A therapeutic dose, according to Dr. Natasha, is a dose that's going to give you some die-off. That is the therapeutic dose. So a couple things, just so we're clear. When you grab the yellow book, again, mine is falling apart, and you look under probiotic supplements, I believe it's there. Hold on, let me look. Probiotics. I'm going to sing to you so that you... Detoxification, cod liver oil, coconut oil, blah, blah, blah. Fats, the good and the bad. I know that she has a number here. I don't have that page marked. Hold on. Probiotic beverages. Probiotics. Let's look at 245 yellow book. I was almost there. Okay, so page 245 yellow book. She's got probiotics. It's a whole section. She'll talk all about it. I'd love all of you to read it. It would be so good for you to know about which ones do what. Saccharomyces boulardii is a yeast. Bacillus subtilis, soil bacteria. There's all sorts of great stuff in here. But on page 251, she'll talk about what is a, are you ready? All right, stair-step method, page 251, yellow. What does she say? A good therapeutic strength probiotic will always produce a so-called die-off reaction. What is it? As you introduce probiotic bacteria into a digestive system, they start destroying pathogenic bacteria, viruses, and fungi. When these pathogens die, they release toxins. These are the toxins which made your patient or gapster autistic or schizophrenic or hyperactive. This is why I was talking, Monique, about that. Whatever characteristic symptom the patient may temporarily get worse, whatever they have may temporarily get worse. It is a temporary reaction and usually asks from a few days to a few weeks in different individuals. To make this reaction as mild as possible, build the dose of your probiotic slowly, right? Again, observe for die-off. If there are none, increase. This is the stair-step. I actually drew a stair-step. Look, I'll show you. Stair-step right there in my book. All right, so she says adults should have 15 to 20 billion a day, an infant up to 12 months, 1 to 2 billion, a toddler 1 to 2 years, 2 to 4 billion, a child 1 to 2, 2 to 4. So there it is on page 251. I just want to let you know that each person is individual, and once you have reached that therapeutic dose, it should be maintained for 6 months minimum. Okay, next question. Can we overdose on probiotics? Yes, you can. In fact, when I first started GAPS and working with people and teaching GAPS, and I was talking about GAPS and gut health, this must have been 10 years ago now. Right after I moved to Colorado, I was talking with this lovely little old lady, little because she was little. She was probably 5'1", and she was probably in her 80s, and she said that she had just started probiotics and she was a mess. And she said constipation and stomach ache and, all this stuff and all these horrible symptoms of die-off. And I said, well, how much are you taking? Well, I'm taking 2 a day, so 2 capsules a day. She was taking like 200 billion a day from zero. Of course she was sick. No one tells you. Start slowly. The bottles don't tell you that. The companies don't tell you that. In general, there are a few good companies that know about GAPS that do educate. But man, so yes, you can absolutely overdose on probiotic supplements. What would that look like? Yeah, it could look like vomiting. It could look like severe constipation. It could look like eczema reactions that will never go away if you're giving your child too much. All right, I hope that's helpful. All right, let's see. I've got some other things down here. Woo, I better get moving. Hello, Tara. Woo, Tara's here. Can eye twitching be die-off? Yes. Christina says, I still don't understand how to distinguish die-off versus a food reaction. So remember, there is food and there is probiotic food. There's food, there's probiotic food. Die-off is going to happen from either introducing probiotic food, meaning cultured dairy, so yogurt or kefir or GAP sour cream, cultured cream, or sauerkraut juice, right? If you're introducing an avocado, poor avocados, I'm picking on them today, or you're introducing zucchini, or you're introducing, something like that, yeah, that would be a food reaction. But remember, folks, I want to say you're welcome, Monique. Hello, Nina. I want to say one more thing, folks. Don't be afraid of die-off. Don't be afraid. Push through if you can. This is where the point comes about managing die-off, right? If the child is having a severe response or a strong response, or they broke out in hives and they're itching like crazy, yeah, that was probably too much probiotic food, right? But if you give your child a probiotic food, like cultured dairy or a fermented food, and they have a runny nose, push through. Anything that's manageable, push through. It's worth it. If it's not manageable, your child's in distress or you're in distress, we do not push through, right? I just wanted to bring that up. Don't be afraid of die-off. Go slowly. Go slowly. Hello, Nina. Okay, so, yeah, Monique, you may want to just either do kraut juice or do yogurt and see if you have a shift. Do one or the other and see if you have a shift in his behavior. Stay on either kraut juice for a while or stay on yogurt for a while, one or the other, and see if you have a shift. That's what I would do. Alejandra says, how to cook duck eggs? The same way you cook every other egg. Yes, you can eat them raw. You can use them in gap shakes. You can use any egg, turkey eggs, duck eggs, goose eggs, quail eggs. You get an egg, work with it the same way. Make Russian custard, etc. Yep. Hello, Ashley is here. Woohoo! All right. I'm going back up. Dawn is here too. Hello, Dawn. Okay. Going back up, going back up. So many people. I might have to go late today, even though I'm teaching a coach class today. All right, let's see. Let's go to Alejandra. She says, I have a kefir question. What is going on with the kefir grains when they get sticky, and what needs to happen to be done with them? I would rinse them with filtered water. They may just have too much fat around them, or just rinse them nicely with filtered water and then try the next batch. That's what I would do. Hello, Mariah. Hello, Hamda. You're welcome, Uma. Okay. Christina asks, what benefits raw milk has when left on the counter and gets sour? No kefir grains, no yogurt. So that is called clabbering. And when raw milk is left on the counter and gets sour, that's the inherent lactobacilli, the microbes, the beneficial microbes that live in that raw milk, have eaten the lactose at room temperature, and they've soured the milk. If you leave that, you can drink that milk. We don't know how much lactose is in it, though. It needs to be pretty sour. Or you could allow it to separate and then strain for whey. Okay, Faria says, please GAPS book in Somali. Okay, so Faria, do you have someone who could translate into Somali? If you do, PM me, because we need people who can translate so many languages. Yeah, so if you have someone, please let me know, and I will get it to Dr. Natasha, okay? We'll get in touch with them. Okay. Okie doke. Monique, you're welcome. Okay. And Johnny says, no, she hasn't. There was stimming, so we went back on it. No, I have to go back to your question to see what that was. Okay. Okay. Does that mean she hasn't had egg yolks? I'm not sure. Let me know if you want to put that in there. And Johnny, I'm not remembering what she hasn't had. Okay. Hello, Elizabeth. We have a limit on protein, 30 grams only. Is that because that's, is that all? Who's giving you that limit, Indrani? I don't know. Hi, Dawn. Good to have you. Haboon is here. All right, let's see. Mariah asks, we've been doing GAPS for 4 months. Me and 2-year-old twins. Excellent. I've gone back and done intro on day 5. One of my twins was sick with a runny nose before intro, and the other one got it a couple of days ago. For the last about 24 hours, he hasn't been wanting to eat anything. Perfect. No bribes, no spoon feeding. He'll have a little sauerkraut juice, ghee with a drop of honey. Yeah, listen to your child. The child knows what he is doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. Don't force anything. He's going through a detox or he's going through a rebalance. Let him have as much sauerkraut juice as he wants. Let him have as much ghee that he wants with honey. That'll keep his blood sugar stable. And cod liver oil. Yes, you can also see if he'll have a little bit of meat stock, but Listen to the child, let him tell you what his body needs. Those are very good things for him to be asking for. It should resolve. Your job during this is to make sure he doesn't get dehydrated. So sauerkraut juice, you can do sauerkraut juice in water, dilute it. You can do meat stock, diluted if you need to. Make sure he's having salt. Yeah. Trust the process. And don't let him get dehydrated. Don't let it go on too long. Make sure you're giving him good salt, good water, good anything that will keep him hydrated. You're welcome. Okay. Carol Carpinelli says, you mentioned some time ago standard process easy mag. Yes, standard process easy magnesium. I take magnesium glycinate about 700 milligrams a day. I like the idea of taking whole food supplements. The dose for 6 tablets is 70 milligrams. In the ingredients list, tartary, probably cream of tartar, I don't know, buckwheat, rice hull, which is not in the GAPS diet. What are your thoughts? Good question. Okay, so a couple things. I'll answer this in 2 pieces. One, whole food magnesium will be far more potent and easy for your body to use than magnesium glycinate because it's got all of it. And even though it's coming in at 70 milligrams, it really is far more potent than what you're currently taking. Okay. Because the body can use it. The body uses complete vitamins, complete minerals, complete nutrients in a very different way than it does an individual, like magnesium glycinate. So body, I'm going to give you the glycinate part of magnesium. What? Body goes, where's the rest of the magnesium? What do you want me to do with this? Let's set up a little imbalance. Just a thought. So yes, that particular magnesium does have rice hull and buckwheat. And so my suggestion is see if you can tolerate it. There's not enough buckwheat or rice hull in there, to my understanding. Again, the word according to Monica, that it's going to throw off the GAPS diet for you. And you need to make a call yourself whether or not you don't want to have that in your diet. Personally, again, word according to Monica, I have seen, to me, for some people, having those types of things in the supplements is totally worth what the supplement gives them. That's why I work with Standard Process, because there's nothing like them on the whole planet. There's nothing that's giving the whole food nutrition. Zero companies, nothing. So that's why they are my primary supplement, producer, if you will. Okay, that's what I've got for you there. All right. Lerta says, when steering away from casein, what covers the fermented dairy area? Also, where does goat feta cheese stand where it comes to casein? All right, so last week, I think it was last week. Nope, last week was fats. 2 weeks ago? Did we talk about dairy 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? So I would check that. I know I talked with the coaches about this too. All right, so in general, folks, I'm going to give you a scale again. 2 things to think about with cheese on GAPS. Number 1, goat cheese is always going to be easier for your body to digest than cow milk cheese will. So if you're having any issues with cow milk cheese, try goat or cow milk, anything, right? Go to goat. If that doesn't work, you can go to sheep. You can go to camel. You can go to what can you get in your area that's clean and raw, or just clean. If it has to be pasteurized, no problem. All right, so that's the first thing, right? The next thing is on GAPS, when we talk about cheese, you want to be working first with hard cheeses. And hard cheeses, like aged cheese. I'm going to say Parmigiano Reggiano because I'm Italian. Locatelli, Romano, what is the other one? Provolone, that's hard cheeses. Sharp, hard cheddar. Things that are aged will have very little lactose in it. That's really what we're going for on GAPS. Low lactose, right? And the longer they are cultured, if you will, over time, hard cheeses will have less casein in them. The casein will be pre-digested over time. So just use those when you're out there, out and about, thinking like, oh, how do I work with cheese on GAPS? Well, first you figure out what species works for you, and then you work with hard cheeses first. So feta cheese is not a hard cheese. Feta is going to be higher in casein than a hard cheese will be. So culturing dairy does pre-digest some of the casein, but not all of it. But remembering that unless you have an anaphylactic response to casein, you will heal and seal. The GAPS diet will heal and seal the gut, which is the reason why you can't tolerate casein. So eventually doing GAPS, you're going to just be able to tolerate cheeses after a while. Hope that's helpful. All right. La 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 la. Karen says, I make raw, oh, here we go, very long. We're going to go for a few more minutes, folks, so I can get to all the questions that are here. I make, or get to as many as I can. I make kefir with raw organic milk that I buy from a farmer, but I realized recently that the breed of the cow is a Holstein. Okay, so Holstein is that cow that Americans, I think it was the American dairy industry, bred so that it's very high volume and low fat. It also has A1 casein in it. They are outside on grass for the summer, but I'm worried, as I read in your book and Natasha's book, that I shouldn't use milk from this breed. I have no other cows that I can get milk from. My little boy has ASD. He has been on kefir and yogurt, but now I'm worried that might be affecting his healing. Should I stick to fermented yogurt cream and kefir cream instead of milk and yogurt in case the casein is affecting him? Here's the deal, folks. Just do the best you can. Karen, if that's all you can get, work with it. Bless it and go. I tell people this all the time. If that's the best you can do, then that's the best you can do, and you're doing your best. Just do it. Bless it and go. Just say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the best I can. You should be fine. There's not going to be a problem, so to speak, using milk from milk from Holsteins. Some people have reactions to A1 casein, but some really don't. So do the best you can. See how he's doing. Work with what you've got. Hello, Gurjit. Okay. So Christina, I would work with one or the other. Baby, it's possible baby reacts to dairy. So here's what we do. If you think your child may have a reaction, you do a skin test first. If there's no angry red spot, then you proceed. I would take kefir out and I would work with just yogurt. And then I would slowly increase the amount that the child is having and see how that goes, and then move to kefir. The reactions are loose poop. Remember, folks, I should have talked about this. Did I talk about BMs? I did. I think I did. Bowel movements. The stool is really helpful for you to see. It's going to change. It's not always going to be perfect as you go through GAPS. So if it's loose one day and it's more firm the next day and it's loose the next 2 days and it's more firm, remembering that the stool will be responding to probiotic foods that are added. Yeah. Usually kefir and yogurt will firm the stool. Usually. So don't worry about it. Christina, don't worry about it. Continue with either yogurt or kefir and see how your 2.5-year-old does. You're welcome, Alejandra. Nina asks, questions about eggs, please. How many eggs can my little boy, 8 years old, eat daily? As many as he wants. He can have 1 million. He probably couldn't stomach 1 million. He wants 8 to 10 a day? Yes. If they are good eggs and they're clean eggs and they're pastured eggs and he's eating eggs, yes, he can have as many as he wants. Really good idea to make sure that the yolk is runny or raw. For some of them at least. Good. Nope. Eggs are perfect nutrition. Let him have as many as he wants. Veronica wants to know, what can we do with the milk from the Kefir Milk Hotel? I drink it. Depending on how long the kefir grains have been in their Milk Hotel in your refrigerator, if it's a week, yeah, they will have broken down that milk, that lactose. Try it. Try a little sip. See how your body does. Make sure it's not too sweet. You can drink it for sure. You can also use it to soak liver in. Soak beef liver before you cook it. You can use it or any other organ. Yeah. Let me know how that goes. Oh, he hasn't pooped for a couple of days. Enema. Enema. Did you hear this? Enema. Has everybody heard this? Enema. Please do not let your child go for a couple of days with no pooping. Besides which, if he's sick, enemas can really help the healing process. Okay, so look, Dr. Natasha is very clear about how to work with children with enemas, what to do, make it a very easy, wonderful experience for them. Tell them we're going to get you feeling better. And yeah, do not, please people, do not let your children go for days without pooping. Enemas are your tool. Where can I get an enema? I would go ahead and you can read the book first and tell you can look at what she's talking about, and then you can get an enema kit. I suggest ones with a stainless steel bucket and several nozzles. I don't know if I ever put that on my website, but I probably should. If anyone has enema kits they like, throw them on the page for Mariah, please. Please, Mariah, read about it in the book, either the blue book or the yellow book before you do that, okay? Okay, Leonie asks, I made my last batch of kvass on Sunday, but it looks like it's almost done. It has been crazy hot here, so does that make sense? Yes. Kvass can be done in 3 to 5 days, no problem. Absolutely. Temperature will make it go faster, yeah? Okay, Farhia asks, does Dr. Natasha recommend prebiotic? No. No prebiotics. No prebiotics. Prebiotics feed pathogens. So we do not do probiotics with prebiotics in them. No inulin, no chicory, no FOS, F-O-S, fructo-oligosaccharides. So do not use a probiotic that has a prebiotic in it, everyone. It's not GAPS compliant. Let folks know. Sarah asks, how long does homemade beet kvass last in the fridge? Forever. What does that mean? Thank you, Uma, for that. Thank you so much. So beet kvass can stay in your fridge. You're welcome forever. What does that mean? Not really forever, but for months and months and months. If it's not opened, it will continue to ferment at a very slow rate in the cold. No problem. You will be able to drink that beet kvass. It will either be very lively with probiotics, and as time goes by, the probiotic bacteria will die off, but it'll still be good for you to drink because dead bacteria are still good for you. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, I think I have one more I have to get to up here. I'm looking. Trying to figure out if I got to everyone. I hope I did. Oh, this is the last question I'm going to take. It is from Christina, and then we need to go because I have to get ready to teach for the Certified GAPS Coach training, which is less than an hour from now. Yes, I'm ready. Christina says, I will keep adding questions. I read that camel milk is good for healing, not fermented. Yeah, We only on GAPS drink and eat fermented dairy products. So we don't drink it raw. Like, it has to be cultured, either made into yogurt or kefir. Is it still good if it's made into powder? No. Unless that, yeah, we really don't use powdered anything, folks. Not powdered gelatin, not powdered milk, no powders. Because powders are processed foods, and we know that there are no processed foods on the GAPS diet. I hope that was helpful. All right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and scoot. I hope you have a wonderful week. Next week, I am traveling this weekend. We will have a Ask the GAPS Chef. I will be coming to you from Florida. So we'll do that. For the next 2 weeks, I'll be traveling, but we will have our Facebook Live. And I look forward to being with you again next week. Take good care of yourselves. Let me know if you have questions. And whatever you do, pace yourself. Okay. Be well, everyone. Bye now. Bye now. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you.